welcome to tonight's webinar, Undergraduate and Graduate Info Session with RIT or Rochester Institute of Technology. My name is Rahima Fitri Maharani. You can call me Rani, and I'll be your host for today's event. Tonight, we are thrilled to welcome Mr. David Wivell as Associate Director of International Enrollment from RIT, and he will be sharing important information about RIT's undergraduate and graduate programs, including unique offerings, admissions requirements, scholarship opportunities, and what makes studying at RIT an exceptional experience. Hi, David. Good morning.
Hi, good morning and good evening. It's
Yes.
wonderful to be able to introduce all of you to RIT, to Rochester Institute of Technology, and I'd be happy to answer any questions I can today.
All right. How are you feeling right now?
I'm doing great. I have my morning coffee and ready to go. So it's a little bit raining outside today, but otherwise it's a nice spring day.
All right. That's great. Thank you. Are you ready to start your presentation today?
Sure, sure. Can we get started? Yeah.
Yes. Without
Okay.
further ado, let's begin the presentation. David, the
Okay.
screen is yours.
Thank you very much. And I'll try to go through things quickly so that we have some time for questions after. I'm very happy to answer questions at any time. And I like to show some pictures of RIT because I know a lot of students, international students, cannot always visit our campus beforehand. So you might not know what it's like. So I do like to throw in some pictures. Um, and here's a picture. Here's a picture of some of our students that came to us from Indonesia recently through eStep. So we're so happy that all the interesting culture and life that they brought to RIT. So I just wanted to show you that we were so happy to have some students from Indonesia recently. Oh, sorry. So here, like I said, are some pictures of our campus. We're very modern, very safe, we have great facilities for students to study and to play or to be entertained. This is a new building on our campus. We do a lot with esports and with sustainability. We do have snow in the winter. We can talk about that in a little bit as well if you're interested in maybe some of you have never seen snow. We also have warm temperatures in the summer. It's kind of like this now. We are a place that has four seasons. We're in the northern part, the northeastern part of the United States. So I like to just show some pictures at the beginning to give you a sense of what it might be like if you were a student on our campus. Also, I like to tell people about our city because we are in the Northeast. You can see the city in the background there. That's the downtown, and the airport's over in the corner there. So. RIT was founded almost 200 years ago, so we're quite a well-established, you could say old university in the United States, but we've been changing a lot especially in the last 30 to 40 years. Our university has changed a lot and developed a lot, and we've become a national doctoral research university just even in the time I've been here. I've been at RIT for 13 years. Actually, in 6 days, I'll have been here for 13 years. Um, RIT has changed a lot recently. The things that RIT is good at are the things that are becoming very popular and valuable in in education right now. RIT has been, going on a very good trajectory, just developing quickly in the last 30 or 40 years. We're we have a beautiful campus outside of the city of Rochester. We're a large school. We have about um, 16 or 17,000 students at our university. Most of them are undergrad, but we also have graduate programs. We have about 3,000 graduate students at RIT, including master's and PhD. So we can talk about undergraduate and also graduate today. We do have students from about 100 countries, I think 103 countries this year, but we don't have enough students from Indonesia. So we're hoping that some of you will decide to come to RIT and bring more knowledge of Indonesian culture and Southeast Asian culture, ASEAN culture. So we believe that we can learn from you, just like while you're learning from our school. So we also have campuses in Dubai and China and in Eastern Europe. So sometimes students move around between the different campuses. Rochester is a smaller city. It's a middle-sized city in the United States. It's the third largest city in New York State. Um, and we're not in New York City. So it's important to know we're not in New York City. We are a different city. We hope when our students show up, they show up in Rochester and not in Manhattan. We are a short plane ride from New York City, maybe 1 hour from on the plane. So it's very easy to get to Rochester from Indonesia. You would just fly to the United States to one big airport, and then from that airport, usually you can take one flight to Rochester. So it's quite convenient. Most students fly through New York City or fly through Detroit or Atlanta or Toronto. Toronto is close to us as well. Even though it's in Canada, we are very close to Canada and Niagara Falls. RIT is good at a lot of things, but some of the things that we're best known for would be our co-op program. Co-op is a chance for students to work. So they work, they get paid money, they get trained at companies around the United States and even in other countries. And it's a chance for them to see what it's like in a company or in business or in industry that they are thinking about doing for the rest of their life. We have one of the biggest co-op programs in the US. We're currently ranked number 6 in the United States, so we're one of the highest ranking programs in the US. And we've been doing co-op for over 100 years at RIT. Um, Overall, RIT is, I'll talk about co-op a little bit more because it's something we do very well in a moment. But overall, we're ranked 91 in the United States. So we're a top 100 university out of 4,400 colleges and universities in the United States. We're in the top 100. So that's pretty good. We also have very good ranking for what we call best value. And that is when our students graduate, they get good jobs. They get good salaries. They usually end up working in their field, whatever they studied at RIT. We have some terrific programs, especially game design. We're one of the best ranking programs in game design in the US. We're terrific with engineering and computing. Those are our two largest colleges. So we have a lot of different programs for computing and engineering. Um, a lot of people are surprised that we're also very good at art and design. We have high-ranking programs, not only game design, but industrial design, jewelry and metal design, film and animation, making movies, a lot of the Disney movies, animated movies you might see. And in fact, there's an animated movie right now in Indonesia that's very popular, which a RIT alumna, an RIT graduate is worked on. So we do very well with animation, with film, with photography, things like that. So, a lot of good programs. We call a comprehensive university. So we have a little bit of everything. We have business, we have science, we have art, we have computing, a little bit of everything. Um, we are very career focused. So we tend to try to help students study something that will help them find a job. That's something we like. We feel that when students are working either here in the US or back in their home country, that they are using the knowledge, the education they got to change the world. Like I said, we are a comprehensive university. We have a little bit of everything. We have 9 different colleges. We have 100 um, minors. We have 90 undergraduate programs. So whatever you're interested in studying, you can usually find it at RIT. We're big, and we do have a lot of graduate and PhD programs. So, in fact, right now I know one of the Indonesian students that's here is doing a PhD in sustainability, which is one of our colleges, College of Environmental Studies and Sustainability. RIT is a school that is very invested in helping students experience things that they want to study. So it's not just about books. I mean, books are important, or computer screens. Of course, we don't use books so much anymore. Everybody studies on their screen or on their computer. But we also are very invested in students doing hands-on work. So maybe participating in research with their department or in the laboratory, or maybe participating on a club where students are designing and building a race car. This young lady on the side, she's part of our one of our all-female electric formula racing teams, and she, her team designs and builds and races an electric formula race car. Each year they make a new one, and that way they learn about the whole process of, you know, bringing people together, not just engineers, but maybe doing social media, maybe doing fundraising, maybe doing design, maybe doing welding, maybe doing the racing or the computer app that's controlling the car. So this team comes together just like a small company, and then the students get experience in running that club, which they can later use when they are working at a company or in an industry. Like I said, we're a very safe, friendly residential campus. It's the kind of campus where um, if you drop your phone or your AirPods, somebody will come running after you to give them to you. Um, yeah, we're very safe. It's a friendly place, sometimes a little cold, but that's the only downside really. Now this is what some of our campus looks like. These are not the freshman dorms. The freshman dorms are these ones here. They're a little more normal dorms for the US, but these dormitories are more popular with the second and third year students. They they get them earlier. So, but lots of options to live on campus. All first year students live on campus for at least 1 year. Graduate students usually live off campus in apartment complexes nearby. You know that you can live on campus if you want. Like I said, there are a lot of clubs and a lot of activities, festivals. We have concerts and comedians and a lot going on campus. So those are just some pictures so you can kind of get an idea of the variety of things that we offer. We do have, because we have a lot of international students, we have about 2,000 international students on campus each year. So we have a special office that helps international students. They're called the International Student Services Office, and they help with a lot of things like visas. They provide orientation for new international students. That's in addition to the regular orientation. All the students get the regular orientation. International students also have their own kind of special helpers and student leaders and orientation that happens at the beginning of the year. The International Student Services Office also helps with different international student clubs. Like we have Chinese Student and Scholar Association. We have Global Union, that's a international student club. We have Oasis that works with South Asian students. We're hoping that pretty soon we'll have an Indonesian Student Association once again. We've had Malaysian Student Association and Vietnamese and other groups, and we're hoping to rebuild and have Indonesian Students Association soon. We do have an English language center. If you can all understand me, you probably don't need it. But sometimes if a student needs a little bit of extra help with their English, they can start at the English Language Center, improve their English so that they can be
Bahasanya
successful
di bahasa Inggris.
in the classes and academic classes.
Bahasanya di bahasa Inggris, Jah.
Ya
And
emang.
so for undergraduate admission, the requirements are very standard. For this group of students, you don't have to worry about the application fee. Or testing. We're test optional as a school. We do need English testing, and of course, the most important thing is your grades, your high school transcript if you're an undergraduate student. So that's what we're going to be basing most of the decision around. We want to make sure that when we look at the major you want to apply to, we want to make sure that you have the background and the classes. Maybe you need certain math classes or certain science classes um, to be successful. So if we think you can be successful in the major that you're interested in, then that's basically um, what will qualify you for admission. Then, like I said, we do need English testing to make sure you can be successful in that class. Because even if you are a wonderful, ooh, interesting. Even if you're, oh yeah, sure, yeah, no application fee for this group.
I did
Um,
that, David. I did that.
that's
So
cool.
okay.
That's like magic. I thought I did it by accident. No, that's great. Um, so again, the English, we just want to make sure that you're in a position to be successful in the class. Because I've studied in other countries. It would be if I don't speak the language, if I tried to study in Bahasa, I would not do very well. So I would work on the Bahasa first, and then move into my academic classes. And some programs will require a portfolio. So some of the art and game design programs, industrial design, animation, those programs are going to look carefully at a artistic portfolio with examples of work that maybe the student has already done so that they can get an idea of the student's artistic and creative ability. I see there's a question in the chat about scholarship. Yes. Yes, so there are different options for scholarship. We can get to those in a moment. This, by the way, is graduate. It's very much the same. Again, I can waive the application fee for this group. Um, again, we'd be looking again at the undergraduate transcript. So maybe your school in Indonesia, your college in Indonesia, that would be the most important part of the application. Some programs do require testing, like a GRE or a GMAT. Most do not. All programs will require TOEFL or IELTS in order to make sure that you can be successful with the language part. And then there's the portfolio. Again, for art and design programs, animation programs, it would require a portfolio. To talk about tuition and scholarships. Yeah, we do. So our RIT is a private university, so we're a little more expensive than a public university because we don't receive any money from our state or our national government. But we do offer scholarships, and they vary depending on how strong the student is. And hopefully, all of you might also have the potential since RIT is working to be on the LPDP list and some of the other lists in Indonesia. We're hoping that there can also be some scholarship from the Indonesian government or different ministries within Indonesia. So we can provide some merit scholarship to bring the application, the tuition down, and make it a little more approachable. And then hopefully students might also receive some scholarship from the Indonesian side. And we're hopeful that it's a big investment for sure, for any family, for an American family as well. It's usually one of the biggest investments parents will have in their lifetime. This and housing are the biggest investments we'll face. But we try to bring the cost down a little bit with scholarships for good students. And that also means for students from interesting places like Indonesia. Like I said before, we don't have enough. We want to have more students from Indonesia. So the school will try to use as much of their scholarship aid as they can to help encourage students to come from places like Indonesia. Yes, Duolingo on the slide. Good question. For Aldi, I believe you're applying for grad program. As of a week ago, the grad programs did not accept Duolingo, but I think as of about yesterday, it was approved that they will start using Duolingo. So I think Duolingo will be an option for grad applications as well. For undergrad applications, yes, we do accept the TOEFL, the IELTS, and the Duolingo. And for TOEFL, undergrad needs a 79 or higher, IELTS a 6.5 higher, or Duolingo a 115 or higher. But for grad programs, until recently, they only accepted the TOEFL and IELTS. I believe they're going to start accepting the Duolingo now as well. But that was only approved by the school government, I think yesterday or the day before. So we're still waiting to see how that works. Right now, I think graduate programs are still going to be looking at the TOEFL and the IELTS, but we might be able to use the Duolingo soon. Good question. We're working on it. Let's see if there's some others. Yeah, so that's some of the general facts and figures and history of RIT. And here also, rit.edu/international is the website for my office. So that's a good place to find information that's helpful for international students, maybe talking about more about the co-op program or talking about visas or talking or finding my contacts. You can find my contacts there at the bottom as well. I said I would, oh, here, this is also kind of fun. Oh, sorry about the typing. But this is a new campus video tour. So if you sorry, it's not so legible, but it's rit.edu/video tour. You're also welcome to use the QR code if you snap that, and it'll give you a nice short, I think it's about 10-minute tour of the campus, and some of our student tour guides will introduce the campus for you. So you can see what it looks like on campus and what some of our programs and facilities and and people look like on campus. So I hope that you'll take a look at that and maybe start to picture yourself here on our very pretty and very modern campus. So that's that. I did say I'm happy to take questions. Okay. But I'll also talk a little bit more about the co-op in a moment. Is it mandatory to submit the GRE or GMAT score for graduate admission? It really depends on the program. There's a great list of the different grad programs. The issue is that each of our graduate programs admission decisions is made by professors in the program. So it's a little different in grad and undergrad. In undergrad, you know, I prepare the undergrad application. I'm an admission professional. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a professor. I prepare the application and I present that student to the admission committee, and they give a decision. And they're also admission professionals. They're in this same building, and they're not teachers. they make the admission decision. But for graduate programs, each application goes to the professors in that program and they make the decision. So sometimes the things that they're looking for are very specific to that program. Well, let me find it. Um, Excuse me. Another nice thing about our website is that it's all Google based. So you can always just find just about anything by typing in rit.edu slash and then a space and whatever you're looking for. So I typed in grad requirements, graduate requirements, and that comes up. So that will tell you each program and what they require. Do they require a GRE or a GMAT? What TOEFL score do they require as a minimum? Um, Many of the programs, if they have, for example, a minimum TOEFL of 88 then they will still consider students who have a lower TOEFL or an IELTS
It's
below.
graduate deadlines. I need the undergraduate.
Yeah. I'm sorry, was that a question or?
I
Okay.
think she just forget to mute.
Unmuted accidentally, yeah.
All right, yes.
So it does give information for each program there. And you can also find a lot of great information about the all of the programs, graduate and undergrad, by going to rit.edu/study. And that website lists all the programs, graduate and undergrad, and you can search by engineering or you can search by art and design, and it'll give you each program that you might be interested in, and then you can look, and each one will tell you what their admission requirements are. It'll introduce you to some of their faculty. It'll introduce you to some of the jobs that they find later on. No problem. So, good question. Yeah. But it is different for undergrad and graduate, just because of the who is making the decision. Now, yeah, I said I would talk briefly about co-op. Um, so co-op is very special. We think co-op is one of the things that also makes RIT special. It is a time when students stop their classes. So maybe after finishing your second year in an engineering course, you might stop your classes and go work at an engineering company for 6 months. And you don't pay tuition when you're doing co-op. You get paid by the company. You get trained by the company. It's also a chance for international students. It's a chance to see other parts of the U.S. and maybe see different food, different weather, different culture in a different part of the United States. We have a lot of students who do their co-op programs maybe in California or in Washington State or New Mexico or New York City. So it's a chance for students to experience what life will be like after they graduate, really, in the industry that they're interested in studying. So we like co-op a lot. We are very good at co-op, and it's built into the way our education at RIT works. So usually it takes a little bit longer for students to graduate because they're stopping their studies and maybe going to work for 6 months and then coming back and starting their studies back up. But they're not paying more tuition. They're actually making money. And then when they graduate, they have work experience on their resume. So they can already say, oh, I worked at Microsoft for 6 months during my college. And so I have the 4 years of college, but I also have 6 months of work experience at Microsoft. So that's one of the reasons that our students get better jobs after they graduate. So we're very happy with the co-op program. Not all students do it, but most of our students participate in co-op. And I think it's highly recommended for international students because the beautiful thing about co-op is that you can do it anywhere in the US. Even if you're an international student, you when you're on co-op, it's a special visa status and you can work anywhere in the US and you can work full time. So normally when an international student is in college in the US, they can only work part-time and they can only work on campus or right near campus to make a little bit of extra spending money. But co-op is different. Co-op, you can work anywhere in the US and work full time to make money. So oh, wow. I see. We have a deaf woman who interested in a master's degree. Um, I forgot to mention, but RIT is very special. One of our colleges is called the National Technical Institute for the Deaf. So we actually have a high population of students who are deaf or hard of hearing at RIT. So there's a community of people here at the undergraduate and at the graduate level who are deaf and hard of hearing. So wonderful. So this student has a bachelor's degree in accounting and would like to do a master's in, looks like software engineering, I think. Yes, and co-op is really included in all of the technical majors. It's for graduate programs, co-op is not required because many graduate students have work experience already. So it's not a requirement of the graduate programs to have a co-op, but students can take co-op, and graduate students can take advantage of co-op. So it's one more opportunity to get work experience in the US and get paid before graduation. And then after graduation, students who are in, every student gets at least 1 year after their undergraduate or after their graduate program to work in the US on their student visa status. That's called OPT. And if students are in a science, math, engineering, technology type program, they get an extra 2 years. So they get a total of 3 years after they graduate to work on their student visa before they need to have to get a work visa in the United States. So it makes it easier to get experience. Great question. Yeah, and RIT is a great place, a great school for a student who is deaf or hard of hearing, because like I said, we have a big community. We have over 1,000 students on campus here who are deaf or hard of hearing. So we're always thinking about that. If there's ever an event on campus, there are always sign language interpreters. There's always subtitles at the bottom of all of our videos and all of our broadcasts. Uh, we have deaf performers who perform at our events, like graduation. We have a group that performs dances the national anthem, things like that. So it's a nice place for that. Thank you. Good question. But yes, co-op is also available for graduate programs. It's not required, but it is available. See another question here. Build across this.
David, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, may I? Yeah, Lucia also asking about scholarship. Like, is there any chance of getting a scholarship for the MSSE program? So I just want to tell Lucia that RIT is on the list of LPDP Affirmasi. So if you need a scholarship, so you can check on that and prepare for the LPDP Affirmasi, because LPDP is going to open, I think is in June or in July, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're interested to apply for RIT using LPDP scholarship, you can use LPDP Affirmasi scholarship. I hope it helps you. Okay, that's all. You can continue.
Oh, absolutely. That's very helpful. And one of the reasons we're so excited is that we are hoping to be on the LPDP lists so that between the scholarship that we provide and the scholarship that the Indonesian government provides, we hope that it makes it more possible for excellent students to come to RIT. Um, I should also mention for deaf and hard of hearing people, sometimes there is a lower tuition fee for students who are deaf of hard of hearing at RIT. Although it's only a little lower for international students. For American students, their tuition is subsidized by the U.S. government. So cross-disciplinary, starting with bachelor's degree in economics management, and continuing to master. Yes, we're a very good school for students who want to do cross-disciplinary studies, as long as we think you will be successful. It's a little harder. We like to have students come from other disciplines. So if you come from economics management and want to go into data science, that's great for us, for the school, for your classroom, because you're bringing in outside knowledge that maybe the other data science students don't have. So you can contribute to the class and you can make the classroom more interesting with your different ideas. But it is a little harder for you because maybe you don't have quite the same background as the other students in the class. So we look very carefully at the application to try and make sure that we think you will be successful. Because we want you to bring the economics background, for example, to classroom. But we also want you to be successful and to graduate. So we look very carefully. If we think a student who's coming from a different discipline can be successful in their new graduate program, then we're very happy to have them here. And a lot of our students come from different backgrounds and move into a graduate program. For example, we have quite a few students who came from uh, management information systems, which is a business program. Although it's technical, a lot of them have been successful in our game design master's program. So it's really quite easy. Well, it's not easy, but it's quite possible for students to do a graduate program that's very different from what they did in their undergraduate. There's a lot to learn. So good question. And scholarships, our scholarships tend to be very standard. In turn, they're linked to how strong the application is. So if a student has very good grades at a good school and the teachers say good things about the student, maybe they're very active, then they'll get a higher scholarship. If their grades are just so-so and the teacher says, oh, they're all right, they're okay, then maybe they'll just get a so-so scholarship. And if their grades are not very good, and the teacher says they're okay, they're not great, then maybe they don't get very much scholarship. But most of our international students do get, I would say on average, about $25,000 a year in scholarship. Sometimes a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower, but we try to encourage students with, especially good students with the scholarship. It's a good question. Another question about Duolingo. I have to check and see if Duolingo will be, I know it will be added for grad eventually, but I don't know if they'll start it right now because the end of the fall 2025 recruiting season is right now. So we're very late in the season, so they might not change it until they start the fall or the spring of 2026. Spring of 2026 and fall of 2026 will definitely take the Duolingo. But if you're interested in fall of 2025, I'm not sure if they will start it. I know it's approved now. I'm very happy that it's approved, but I don't know if they'll start using it right now because it was approved just within the last week. But good question. And they might be able to. Maybe they would make an exception even because if we tell them that, we know in our office, we know that the Duolingo will be accepted. So maybe you could be the first. So good question. Secondary education for students who are deaf. Oh, so, okay. So you weren't talking about software engineering. Great. Yeah, the secondary education one is one of our specific master's programs that is geared towards teaching students, younger children who are deaf or hard of hearing. That's a great major, and RIT's one of the only schools that offers that program. So yeah, this would be a great place to study that. They programs like education programs, art programs, history programs, they don't usually require a co-op program, but they can usually provide a co-op program. And actually, Rochester, New York, because of NTID, National Technical Institute for the Deaf at RIT, Rochester, New York has the highest per capita deaf and hard of hearing population in the United States of any city. So there are lots of opportunities if you're interested in teaching to students who are deaf or hard of hearing. There we have schools for the deaf here in Rochester, and obviously we have very good relationships with them. So so there would be opportunities to do teaching and things there. Great. Yeah, we're on LPDP. Great. So good questions. I do think I know the Duolingo will be accepted eventually, but I'm not sure about fall 2025. But like I said, maybe we can make an exception now that it has been approved. We
All
do,
right.
we would love to have more students from Indonesia. We've had great students from Indonesia in the past, and we're trying to rebuild our especially after COVID, but you know, in recent years, we've had a little bit less from Indonesia and Malaysia and other parts of Southeast Asia. So we'd like to try and increase those students at our school because they bring a lot of interesting culture and friendliness and intelligence and life experience to our campus. So great. Well, um, and if there are any questions about winter? I know winter is something that that is new and different for a lot of Indonesian students. It is something you get used to. Um, the colder weather is something that students get used to, but winter can be a little long here. We are in the north. We're close to Canada. We do have the four seasons. Summer, when school starts, is beautiful and warm. You'll think it's just perfect. It's not hot for people from India. For me, it's hot. For people from Indonesia, it's just right. And then fall is beautiful. We have the wonderful fall weather and the trees all turn color, and then winter. It's always fun to see snow for the first time, and sometimes it looks beautiful with the snow. Although I think most students wish it was maybe a month shorter. And then spring again is beautiful too. The spring looks like this. So that's winter.
All right. Thank you, Mr. David, and all the active participants. I would like to give all of the participants to use the raise hand features if you like to ask your questions, because there's Mr. David and he will answer all of your questions about RIT, about admission, or maybe the living arrangements. So please feel free to use. There's Novarido. Hello, Novarido.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so hello, Mr. David. It is a great pleasure to meet you here. And I would like to ask some questions about graduate admission, actually. Uh, uh, yeah, I would like to ask about, I have a background in English language and literature, specifically in linguistics, but I want to switch my disciplinary to hospitality management and also business administrations. But yeah, we know that my background is not suitable for the master degree at hospitality and also business management, but I have job experience in that field. Is that still possible for me to apply for that program?
Oh,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put the link in the chat for us For hospitality, yeah, hospitality's in our business college, our College of Business. They have a wonderful master's program and a undergrad program, and they have a lot of connections to the hospitality industry, both in hotels and restaurants, but also in real estate. So they do a lot of very well connected training and a lot of maybe not a required co-op, but a lot of internship opportunities for students. So yeah, it's a very good program. It's definitely possible to move into hospitality from a program like linguistics. That would not be a problem. Hospitality and most of our business programs are very flexible when it comes to working with students who are from more general backgrounds. Very few of our business programs require.
Alhamdulillah.
Mhm. So there are only a small number of business programs that would not take students from outside of the. Did I say that right? Most programs, including hospitality, would be very welcoming of students, very hospitable to students who come from outside of the hospitality um, program specifically. Yeah. Life experience is important with hospitality, especially if you do have RIT is always a school that likes to see students who have some work experience. That helps a lot on your application. Good question.
All right, thank you, Mr. David. So RIT has the flexibility to like switch disciplinary to like English and literature to more hospitality and business because as long as he has an experience. All right.
Yeah, yeah, and they like to work with students. If there sometimes there are classes that a student might need. Um, in order to be successful in their major, and we call those bridge classes. So they might need to take, a math class or some other class, but we can usually do that here on campus after they arrive. Yeah. And it
All
doesn't
right.
cost extra.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. David. Is there any more questions? Feel free to raise your hands or you can type your questions in the chat box and Mr. David will answer all of your questions.
You're very welcome. Yeah. It's wonderful to talk to you. I'm so happy that we can present and tell a little bit about RIT, even when students are on the other side of the world. I would like to get to Indonesia sometime soon so I can meet you in person and present in person, but this is very convenient. Ask about, RIT 40% scholarship, the RIT master plan tuition. I saw that in your website. So, well, the master plan and the is special for RIT graduates. So if a student went to RIT for their undergraduate, then we automatically qualify them for a 40% scholarship, which is at RIT is considered a very high scholarship. So that particular scholarship, the master plan, is for students who went to RIT for their undergrad. It's good that you found it, but it only applies to students who went to RIT for their undergrad. It is sometimes possible to get a scholarship that high if you're not an RIT graduate, but I would say normal scholarships for graduate programs would run more like 20 to 30% of scholarship, not usually 40%. That's a little bit high, a little bit special, and that's why we offer that to our RIT undergraduate students. But if there's a student who's looking at undergrad here, then they could they can be pretty sure that they'll get at least a 40% scholarship for graduate study if they stay at RIT after they graduate. But it's good to find that, but that's only for students who did their undergrad at RIT. But hopefully we can get close, and NTID would probably be fairly generous, especially with a student who is international from a place like Indonesia, who's also deaf and hard of hearing. They would be very excited.
Right. Thank you. Maybe for additional information, for Indonesia master's graduate, you can apply through our government scholarship called LPDP Affirmasi. And for doctorate, you can also apply to RIT through BPI or Beasiswa Pendidikan Indonesia by our Ministry of Education. So feel free to check that out and apply to RIT.
And my understanding, actually, ESTEP knows better than I do about LPDP and other Indonesian scholarships. But my understanding is that, especially for students who, maybe deaf or hard of hearing, or blind students, or students with other challenges and disabilities, that the government scholarships are especially helpful and generous. So that's definitely something to think about.
Yes, that's right. And our time is 6 minutes left, so feel free to ask your questions. Please raise your hand and ask your question or type in our chat box.
Krishna?
All right, Kresna.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is there any so much noise here? So thank you, Mr. David, for the explanation of the RIT. It was really great to hear how RIT supports students who come from the different academic backgrounds. Since you also mentioned about the selection process for those who switching fields. Actually, I've been interested for the RIT graduate major, which is the sustainable system, if I was not mistaken. Yeah. And yeah, as I know, it was one of specialized majors because in Indonesia, it was not very common majors in Indonesia. And as I know that in Indonesia, there is no campus that have any undergraduate level for that major. So my question is, are the if once any student admitted in one specialized majors, are there any specific resources, programs, or support systems at RIT to help students transition into these more specialized majors?
Okay, I might need a little help because the audio is a little bit broken, at least here. Can you repeat the question? I mean, just the last part, asking about it. So it sounds like you're interested in sustainability and sustainable systems, and doing it at the graduate level. But you were asking about supports on campus?
Okay, so the question is, if once on a student was admitted into RIT on a specialized majors, let's say sustainable systems, is there any resources or programs or support system that RIT can help to the students for the transition phase in to get more to this specialized majors? So
Oh,
maybe
sure.
about to go.
I mean, the school is built around support for students. So, I mean, I mentioned the International Students Services Office, but there's a whole list of offices that are specifically there to help students succeed. So, there's academic advising. Your first step would be, if you're, for example, you're studying sustainable systems, your first step would be to meet with your advisor, who is working with that college, the College of Sustainability, and they would be helping you to choose your classes, to make sure that you had the right classes that you need to be successful in the next semester of classes and the next years of classes. They would be helping you with work opportunities, or internships, or co-op opportunities, and they would help put you in touch with the teachers and professors that would be most helpful for you moving forward. So that's your first line. But then there are other offices for academic success. There are offices that help with tutoring. There are offices that where professors, but also students, could help you with English, help maybe with if you're writing an essay or writing a paper, they can help you go through and improve some of the English language in it, or the writing skills, the grammar. So yeah, there are a lot of academic supports here at RIT for students in every major, but including in sustainability. And you'll always find that our teachers, our professors, have office hours. Each one of them has office hours every week where you can drop by the office, or you can sign up ahead of time and go by and talk to the professor outside of class. They have a certain number of hours every week that you can stop by, and they're available to go over things and help you with that. So there are a lot of different supports. Professors are also going to try and get you involved in research that they're doing. So you can get a job as a research assistant, or as a graduate assistant in a program, and that will also help keep you inside the program and working outside of class, maybe making a little money. So yeah, there are a lot of opportunities for that kind of thing. Okay, good question. Is the application for fall 2025 still open for both undergrad and graduate? Yes, applications are still open. We're still able to accept new applications for fall of 2025. Some of our most popular programs are full. So, for example, game design or mechanical engineering or computer science or cybersecurity. These are very popular film and animation, very popular programs at RIT. So if you apply to those programs, no problem, but we might start with a wait list, and then we'll see if a space opens up in the next couple weeks or months, then we can give you that spot. Otherwise, there are 85 other programs that you can choose from. Many of them might be similar. So yes, we can still accept applications. Most of our programs still have space in the program. Eventually, for first year students, we will run out of beds. So, and first year students have to live on campus, but for transfer students and graduate students, the beds are not a problem. So as long as there's a space in the program you're interested in, we can still admit you. And if there isn't a space right now, we can put you on the wait list, and hopefully a space will open. We are a big school, so we continue to admit students all summer. So the final deadline would be how quickly can you get, after you're admitted and enroll, how quickly can you get a student visa? So sometimes we have students who are admitted in July and they get their visa at the beginning of August, and they show up here on time for the beginning of school in the middle of August. But we do have a lot of programs will admit students for spring. So spring of 2026 is a possibility, or of course fall of 2026. I don't recommend spring, especially for students from Indonesia, because that is the coldest time of the year. It's not as beautiful or fun, and I think it's for students from Indonesia, it's nice to get here in August. Everything's warm and beautiful and friendly, and everyone's happy. Spring term starts in January, which is the coldest and coldest time of year. And we only bring in a small number of students for spring every year. So it's not as exciting because you don't have 3,000 new students on campus all happy and excited and meeting new students. You have just a couple hundred new students on campus, and the rest of the school is just going to class and starting their new classes for the spring. So it's not as exciting. I think it's better to come in August for the fall semester. Good question. Let's see. Advisor means the admission and program contact. No, the advisor. So right now, students, when they're working through the application, they will have an admission counselor, an enrollment counselor like me, who will help them to get their application materials together and will help them to present those materials to the admission committee so that they can get an admission decision. But when I'm talking about an academic advisor, That's someone who works in the college, and they work with students who are here, who are studying. So I do not work with students who are current students. I work with students who are thinking about RIT and applying to RIT. So I'm not a teacher. Once students are here in the school, they work with an academic advisor who is professional at the classes that they need to take in their major. I know a little bit about everything, but I don't know enough to be an academic advisor in the Masters of Deaf Education or Sustainable Systems. I don't know enough about those things to really be helpful for a student. So what we do is once a student comes to the school, they'll be working with someone in their program who then helps them choose the classes, choose the good professors, get involved in research, things like that. So an academic advisor would be someone who works in the teaching side. Good question. Hospitality and business management. I saw the link. GMAT, GRE or GMAT optional for spring and fall. No minimum score. So does that mean it's not required? So if you have the GRE or GMAT, they like to see it, but it's not required. Let me just double check that because sometimes some programs will require for international students and not for US. So it says GRE optional for spring and fall, no minimum score. So it's not required. So you don't have to, they have suspended the GRE or GMAT for now. They used to require it, but for at least for spring and fall of 2025, they are not requiring the GRE. They don't mention spring 26. So we can check on that, but I think right now, they would not be requiring it. I think the hospitality program is moving away from the GRE and moving away from the GMAT. And I don't expect that they will require it for spring 2026 either. And especially since it's not required now. Good question. Yeah. And thanks for looking and doing the research.
All right. Thank you,
Great.
Mr. David. And that is our last questions for today's event. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask us, to contact us eStep at our WhatsApp that is available in our chat box, or you can email us at info@estep.asia, or you can search through rit.edu/international and search your information that needed. And before we ended our today's session and take the photos, I want to sum up a little bit about RIT. So, RIT adalah kampus yang terletak di Rochester, New York, Amerika Serikat. Dan RIT adalah universitas yang fokusnya pada teknologi, desain, dan seni terapan dengan program studi yang populer adalah ilmu komputer, teknik, cyber security atau keamanan cyber, desain game, bahkan film dan animasi. RIT memiliki kampus internasional yang terletak di RIT Dubai, ada juga di Kroasia, Kosovo, dan China. Kemudian RIT juga memberikan pengalaman lebih kepada siswa untuk menambahkan professional experience atau pengalaman profesional melalui co-op program. Jadi siswa dapat bekerja di industri di Amerika tanpa perlu membayar tuition pada semester itu dan bahkan mendapatkan gaji atau mendapatkan uang saku dari tempat students bekerja. Selain itu, RIT juga sangat terbuka terhadap international students. RIT memberikan pengalaman, kemudian memberikan program untuk international students untuk meningkatkan kemampuan berbahasa Inggris students untuk yang masih kurang. Kemudian RIT terakhir, RIT juga memberikan layanan pembuatan visa dan dokumen-dokumen yang dibutuhkan untuk seluruh international students yang ingin dan akan belajar di RIT. And I think that it's for all of our sessions today. Before we ended our session, let's take a picture first. Please open your camera so we can see your face. And Mr. David, can you please stop your screen share first so we can...
Sure. Oh, go. And
All right. Please open your camera or is... All right, let's wait for the others to open their camera. Thank you. For the others? Okay, I will count to 3. Please smile. 1, 2, 3. Once again. 1, 2, 3. All right.
okay. Well, and a big thank you to eStep. Please feel free to be in touch with me directly with questions about RIT, but if you're going through the application process, there's no one better in Indonesia to help you than eStep. They have been to RIT multiple times. They know a lot about RIT, and they know a lot about the application process that can really help you move forward. So we love working with eStep, and thank you so much for setting this up today.
All right. Thank you once again, Mr. David, for your time for the insightful session. And thank you for all of the active participants today. And if you have more questions or need support with your application to RIT, feel free to reach out to our team at eStep. You can WhatsApp or email us and we will be happy to assist you. We hope you find this session helpful and we wish you all the best on your academic journey. Have a great evening and see you